We'll go on live here. I just want to make sure I do it right.
Yeah, a minute, whenever you're ready, we'll get rolling.
I'm good. Yes, sir. Thank you.
I'd like to welcome everybody to our June 21st council meeting. Can you please rise for the flag salute? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you could remain standing while our Deputy Mayor Karen Pugh leads us in prayer.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. In your name we pray. Amen. Please remain standing. We have a few moments of silence this week. The first one is for Betty Shaken, longtime Brigantine community member who passed at the age of 97. Betty worked alongside her husband, Dr. Joe, in their medical practice and was one of the founding members of the Brigantine Jewish Community Center, now known as Temple Beth Shalom. Betty is survived by her son, Dr. Harry Shaken, and his wife, Sarah, her daughter, Jamie, and husband, Billy, and her daughter, Gail, and her husband, Steve Donahue, along with 7 grandchildren and 11 great-grandchildren. Betty will always be remembered for riding her tricycle around Brigantine and for working in her beautiful garden. And also, Mr. Jim Morris, 89 of Brigantine and Mapleshade, Florida, passed this week. Jim was a graduate of Brown University and was a member of the U.S. Air Force. He worked for 30 years for Prudential Insurance Company and later for the Brigantine Public Schools. He is survived by his wife of 68 years, Kathleen, his daughter Kim Gordon, her husband Art, his daughter Lynn Sweeney, and her husband Kevin, 5 grandchildren, and 7 great-grandchildren. Everyone who knew Jim will miss hearing his many stories and seeing him ride his bike around the island. Thank you. Please be seated.
Lynn, can you read the Open Public Meetings Act announcement?
This is to advise the meeting notices covering this meeting. I'm sorry.
Take your time, Lynn.
This is to advise the meeting notices covering this meeting have been sent and posted as required under the Open Public Meetings Act.
Thank you. Need for an executive session tonight. We have an executive session tonight. Topics, or Fred, I'll ask Fred.
For executive session, we're talking about personnel and
Personnel and contract negotiations.
I'll get through it.
You okay, Lynn?
Yep.
Sorry. You read the resolution for executive session?
Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the governing body wishes to discuss matters of personnel and contract negotiations, minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires that confidentiality, then the minutes can be made public. No, there will be, okay. It's fine. This resolution shall take effect immediately.
Thank you. We have a motion second. Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passed. We'll have a short executive session. We'll be back.
Hey, he came in, went that way. That was a nice clean one, yeah. Don't use the air. No. We gonna get you one of those. Happy birthday, brother. Thanks to the.
Oh, maybe that might work.
That might, I'll remember tomorrow.
What, like the air rid stuff?
Yeah, yeah. There's nothing you can do for the events.
I bought a cheap, one of them just got hired. Yeah, formal judge, you know, the charity, and you can tell, guys, you smoke, you know, so just, it never went away. Maybe over time, like when it became like a huge truck, it was just filled with sand.
Right. Yeah, with the seafood smell, yeah.
You need to, you know,
Yeah.
when grass, yard waste pick up on the south end, on golf courses, you know.
Ours is Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah, instead of 3 days a week for 2.
Is that why they got rid of Friday?
What? They're gonna get rid of it? No, didn't say that, but nope, nobody recycles it. It was costing money to do it.
Cause I put mine on Friday.
We had a problem Thursday afternoon, Trump was done.
I wasn't sure if it was Wednesday or Thursday, and then I put it out, and I'm like, it's still here, and then it
Saturday or Monday, yeah,
I'm like, oh.
they're having the same problem. The recycling, everyone's fine, we say the trash truck, the trash truck.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But,
They do have recycling sometimes too.
right, they don't have the help.
Yeah.
They're overtime. There's one guy comes in at 6, and you're only allowed to drive so many hours.
Yeah.
One guy comes in at 6, and he drives until like 4. And then he hops on the back of another truck.
Like a pilot. Like a pilot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's CBS stuff.
yeah.
Get it quick.
Well, I don't know, like, I said, no tiger, and I don't like. I got thought. Like, turning out, bringing it back to the council. Why? Because I never seen it. You know, it was brought. Voted on. And it's a resolution, so they have to like go back and. It's like, it's not the worst in the world, but it was like very, like a learning experience. It's certainly, and then a little bit disheartened a bit, but I'll just try and make it up on that. You know,
How long is it?
and actually, I was getting, it's, reading here. It was like for 4. So now you know it's the number.
Also, it's 4 years.
Because they had this whole urban agreement. That's so cool. And then what he brought was not what we really verbally agreed upon.
Mine was supposed to be 4 and 5.
Was what?
Mine was supposed to be 4, but it was 5.
Really?
But in there, it says I can leave mutually after 90 days or whatever that clause is.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Hey, what happened to the fire over in Lake City today?
Maybe. 301, full general recall. I don't know what happened, you know what I mean, but it was.
There was injuries.
Yeah, it was like where it was at, it's familiar between Atlantic and Pacific. And then Kentucky and New York.
Right, I just wanted to say, yeah.
So it's one of them, like 5 row homes.
Uh,
I don't know if one caught, then ran in on the porches, but like 10 people got burns.
Wow.
3 went to the hospital, the rest were like No, they don't do that.
Yeah,
But then the wind it was out and then it flared it back up.
yeah,
They activated, we said it, they activated the investigation. Cause they had so many people complaining.
Yeah.
They need a bunch of them. And then they had mutual aid fire covering the city, but they had every Atlantic City meeting and reserve apparatus.
yeah.
I think they've been releasing units for the past 2 hours, but they'll be on the scene for a while, like,
Right.
investigating and
Yeah. Yeah, whatever you want. You know that, or whatever you want. One person does. Oh, Chief does. Yeah, there you go. Huh?
You know what's one council meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they're doing a proclamation, or I guess for the president.
Away from this one.
They have a.
Yes, we did. Saturday morning.
The date. You know, that they were gonna. For the 12th, I'm like. That's the second Wednesday. There's only one. But with the first Wednesday, yeah. Maybe.
The council meeting is the 12th,
It is the 12th.
and then the next one's August 7th.
Okay. Sitting here thinking about that. Wait, that doesn't generate first and third.
Detroit tomorrow. Are you? Looking for me for vacation. Wife's cousin's gonna marry. Oh, nice.
Have you ever road trip? You ever been there?
No.
I've been to the airport.
Yeah, to the airport. Got diverted there once.
When we went to look at the apparatus, we was flying to Detroit. We actually were there in Canada. Time zone, my phone's like, here now in Canada. There's terminals. Go on, you to go to another plane, go under. No, the terminals.
Oh, wow.
You go under the runway. This is.
Wow.
Giant, you know, people. And then you come from the other side.
We ever in Houston?
Yeah.
Houston was one of the biggest airports ever. It's same thing. You get, but they have the people moves. They don't turn enough and they just. You know. Yeah, same thing. I mean, they get throw it off there.
It comes in, you go, if you're seeing somewhere, you know, you stop. And then you come back, you're like.
What am I doing here?
Bars covered in like snow.
Yeah. How many hour drive? was it?
It says about 9.5, but that's at 60 miles an hour. But we gotta stop too, so.
Kids?
Yeah,
There you go. 14 hours.
dude, they were good, man. We went to Tennessee for gymnastics. They only stopped when I stopped.
Yeah.
Like there was no like, I'm jinxing myself. but
Yeah,
There was no like. Bathroom, like, when we stopped for lunch, that's when they went to the bathroom, made sure they didn't drink too much. And then they didn't stop again until dinner, and we made it home. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Yes.
You can kind of. Drag your legs back, you know.
I'll tell you what, my grandson Les, It's when like, we swim and we go to the bathroom before we get to the pool. And we get in the pool and then he gets his look on his face like, and I'm like, what? Nothing. I said, you have to pee to go.
And most of the girls like 6 and 7, I was kind of sad, not like that. I needed to bring the sad and now I'm gonna bring. I'm like, the first meeting, I swear to God,
That's right.
I'm like, this, you know, like I was, right, you know, what I mean, like.
You can have it after the fifth one.
We talked about it. I had so many other things on mine.
Yeah.
And then I said, let me know. I was like, I know, I was like, I feel better. Paul, he doesn't have a contract. I have one. We just got changed things. I was like, that's a little more complicated, but. You know. Apparently, it was one that was voted on. He's a guy. He doesn't figure out Paul.
It's kind of like in a rock lab. You know, the worst. But once now.
No, it's kind of reset. Because the way it is.
Yeah, and then none was voted on. All of them. I was coming back. Like, is there anything going on? Signs like. That's why.
That appointment, I do my time. 700. They do. Got into something in time. 2 days. She does have health insurance. We'll get $300 back. I just did surgery on the wife. Lunchtime. So I'm at lunch, she comes up to me, with look on this. What's the problem? She's like, I have like a piece of glass in my head or something. We're leaving tomorrow. I'm like, what are you talking about? So she's opening her mouth and they're looking, I can see. Take a break, open your mouth again, and I'm looking at the flashlight. The seed looks like a steel bristle in the cheek. And I'm like, it feels like some glass. I'm like,
It's gonna sound weird, but what's it a little bristle? I said, "Little bristle, like, what did you just do?" She goes, "The chicken you grilled up." The fucking bristle, I'm throwing all my fucking steel out. Never using it again. So I was calling the woods, I can go, so yeah, there's articles on that all the time. And I just see stealing, where I'm like, well, now I know, I'm 49 years old.
They're using those front blocks.
Yeah, the doesn't work is good.
Right, doesn't work as good, but
So. So I'm like, she goes, yeah, I go, you're right, that's what it is. I go, it's sticking out of your chin. So I'm trying to get like a big plan on it, like a tweezer or whatever. She's like, I'm gonna have to go to, she's like, you're not gonna be able to do this. I gotta go to education. Just relax, let me try again. So I go in a second. I don't know how, I got a good grip on it. Shoot, I pull this thing out. It was like this long. I pulled out of the cheek. I'm like, holy shit. It's like, what? I go, look at this thing. Had blood on me and the video was starting. And that's what I said. I'm like, you probably would have passed it.
yeah, they weren't got stopped.
Well, but that's what, it's actually saying. No, I think it gets stuck sometimes. Right. Just like it got stuck in your cheek infection, it gets stuck in people's. Woods actually, yeah, there's articles all the time about it gets stuck in people. And I'm like. holy shit. And then I had her swishing like 205. Sterilized. Oh, smart. Yeah, I was like, just keep swishing it. And she wouldn't do it. I'm like, I'm telling you, you gotta do it. You gotta like sterilize. Never know, man.
What do you do?
I'm like, I'm glad if that's stuck in your cheek and you didn't swallow. Oh, yeah. I thought about that after. Can you imagine? Stuck in your I think I can deal with it. I feel bad. I didn't do nothing at home. I still feel it. Now I gotta use it. Yeah. Unless I just like clean it with the wire brush and then wipe it down with that other brush, make sure it's all. I do that. No, I do that.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Said it's all gets sharp.
Then 8 o'clock, you remember, still on.
Why am I grilling 500?
Yeah.
Why leave it on just because it's easier to throw?
Right, yeah.
So now I gotta figure out how to clean it. And brush it. Yeah, all the cops on Yeah. But I think with the heat, the problem is to use that citrus cleaner, that's got to be cold. I think then to use the heat, that's what they say. That it? There's something, man. Maybe I just want to clean it. Get that seafood barbecue plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got, what's that, rates, his. Cause you don't have to, clean it like we're just talking. I mean, you clean it, but it's different. It's a hibachi.
But it's
Scrape.
it's not like a bar. I have,
Yeah, I can see it.
I have one. But it's like camping when you do bacon and eggs on the outside. Yeah, it's real good. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I have dome. It's 12 inches of dome. So we do pizza. We all make it and then you put the dome over it. Yeah. Yep. Zero people watching. Zero. It's still on, it's just muted. But it shows you how many people have joined.
How many is
This is the live stream.
the past meetings, how many have there been?
7. I show him once in a while. We laugh.
Yeah, 5.
Right. I think the one time we were clapping, we had like 9. We were giving thumbs up.
Like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we just did we didn't do it because we're running the pipe in.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still under, still in the, engineers, the contractor that did Brigantine Avenue destroyed.
Did, you know if anybody answered him?
I have no idea. It's like the first time I saw it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, the artist is back.
You can judge how long their meetings go by how much they pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. We took a little deep drive.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You like that, huh?
It is one of those. Yeah. Oh.
Hush for the crowd. All right, we have second to resume from executive session.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, the ayes have it. Meeting is resumed. Fred, can you summarize, please?
Yes, ma'am. Executive session. The city council discussed certain contract terms with the contract fire chief. Additionally, contract terms that pertain to the contract beach patrol were also discussed. Those matters have been resolved and the contracts are available in public information for the clerk's office. The council also discussed a potential contract with the council manager. This is under further discussion and finalized contract will be produced, at which time that will be available to the public also. Council also had a general discussion about personnel matters and contracts. These were not matters that were discussed, resolved in this particular matter. It was discussion only. If these matters are short and part of the contract, they will be made available to the public at that time.
Thank you. All right, can we have approval of our June 6th, 2023 council meeting and executive session minutes? Can we have a motion and second?
Second.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri, Hany,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Abstain.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon, Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
We have our approval of payroll, requisition list, and operating expenses. Do we have a motion and second?
Second.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Hany,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
At this time, we'll open it up for public comment, and this is public comment on agenda items only. If you come up and wish to be heard, please state your name and address for the record. Seeing no public comment, we're going to close the public portion. Sorry, sticky notes in my way. All right, so resolution 2023-138, this is the renewal of the Brigantine Paddle Club liquor license. We have a motion and second.
Second.
Kaz, any issues with this?
No, they were actually on the other report as well.
Yeah.
It's actually,
Sorry, like I told you before,
Detective
Sergeant Glasser did a full investigation
and there's no issues. There's another one on here too with Scala, so.
Yeah.
No issues.
All right, so both are good. Thank you. All right, any council comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Hany,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 2023-139, renewal of La Scala liquor license. We have a motion second.
Second.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Hany,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 2023-140, and this is amending the City of Brigantine 2023 year municipal budget by the insertion of a special item of revenue and appropriation from the state of New Jersey. And this is for the automated license plate reader initiative, and this is in the amount of $31,842 and no cents. A motion second.
Second.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Hany,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 2023-141, and this is approval to submit a municipal aid grant application, MA 2024 Brigantine 00445, and execute grant agreement with the New Jersey Department of Transportation. We have a motion second. South Jersey Gas has been doing a lot of work on the island. They did pave part of Harbor Beach Boulevard. They paved half. We're looking at paving the other half of this. We're putting in for a grant for that. We're gonna do it in two phases. This first phase would run from Lagoon Boulevard to Sandy Lane. And then after that, we'll look at the other half. So one of our things in our initiatives with South Jersey Gas is we want to start to fill in behind them and the work they do. If there's no other questions or comments, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Hany,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 2023-142, and this is the issuance of complimentary beach tags to be lent to volunteers staying at Brigantine Presbyterian Church. We have a motion and second. We do this every year. We loan about 25 beach tags to the volunteers who come down to work in the area. We loan them, they use them for the season while they're here. There's different groups that come in and out. At the end of the season, the Presbyterian Church gives those back to the city. And it's just a little thank you from the city of Brigantine for the people who come down here and volunteer to make not just Brigantine, but the surrounding community a better place. There are questions and comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
We have our consent agenda. We have our Brigantine Elks raffle license number 1010, Brigantine Elks raffle license number 1011, Brigantine Elks raffle license number 1012, Brigantine Elks raffle license number 1013, Brigantine VFW raffle license number 1014, Brigantine VFW raffle license number 1015, Brigantine VFW raffle license number 1016, Brigantine Elks raffle license number 1017. We have 100 block of 29th Street block party request. Is that on there twice? Oh, 29, I apologize. All right, 100 block of 29th Street block party request, and then the 100 block of 20th Street block party request. Brian Woods Fun Run Walk request, Brigantine Annual Surf Jam, and Philadelphia Outrigger Canoe Club Race request. Motion second. Questions or comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Up next, we have our council manager committee discussions. I'll go to our city manager, Tiger Flat.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to be brief, this information will hit the local paper on Friday and will also be broadcast on the website and social media sources. Just a quick update on the North End Beach operations. We get a lot of questions about what's going to happen up there during, before and during when this project starts, replenishment. Just so everyone is aware, because of the lack of beach north of Roosevelt Boulevard, the mats, the beach mats for easy access to the beach and for like wheelchairs and stuff, they have been removed because they have been getting washed out as the high tide comes in. There's absolutely zero beach. The other thing is there are no trash cans going north of Roosevelt. And again, same reason, because when the tide comes up, trash cans are getting washed out and then we're getting trash all over the beach and in the water. So we're going to be adopting a temporary adoption until we get this project done of a pack in, pack out, which is similar to what city parks do. And basically, whatever you carry into the beach, just plan on carrying it off with you as well. So trash and everything you bring, whatever you bring on, bring a trash bag, take it off with you. There are numerous beach paths that will be closed north of Roosevelt. I won't go through every single one of them now. Again, look for the article to come out on Friday on our social medias. Roosevelt Boulevard, as far as beach patrol operations, guarded beaches, Roosevelt, 5th Street North, and 10th Street North. They will be guarded, keeping in mind that as this project moves south, it's going to start north at 15th Street. As it moves south, when it gets to those locations, those beaches will no longer be guarded until the project moves past, and then those beaches, when it's safe, once the contractor says it's safe, that those beaches can be occupied again, north of the project as the new beaches can get pumped in, and then they will be reopened and guarded again. So, and just a reminder, lifeguards are on duty daily from 10 to 5, and swimming is only permitted at the beaches. And like on or about July 22nd, the project is going to start. Now, obviously, prior to that, equipment is going to be put in place, but the dredging itself and the pumping of sand should start, give or take, around that date, barring any weather delays or anything like that. Going to start north of the seawall, and the 4x4 beach will be closed while the work is taking place. And then it will be open as the contractor moves south. And again, they're going to work in a 1,000-foot area, and that 1,000-foot area will be closed. And then as it's going to slide every couple of days, and they slide a couple hundred feet to the south. They will do that usually in the morning when the beach is not occupied, so they're not to disrupt anybody that may be on the beach. So all that movement stuff will happen during that time. And again, this information will be put out for the local paper on Friday, so it should be out. It's already been emailed. Any questions on that?
You said this was emailed to council as well?
Yes, this has been emailed to council for the reviews.
All right, perfect, thank you. And will the city be in, contact with the contractor and the Army Corps as they move forward through the project?
Yeah, so once this project gets rolling, we will do weekly updates. I think it's Tuesday mornings we selected. Don't quote me on that, but they are going to make contact. There's a group of us that will meet every Tuesday morning to go over what the updates are. And of course, those updates are going to be pushed out, via social media or through the newspaper. So everybody.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir. Appreciate it. I'll turn it over to our department heads. Chief?
Just bike radios this weekend. So it's a great bicycle education event. There'll be free helmets, free food. Be a chance to win a bike or two. So everybody come out, and it's a great event. We love it. Lots of free helmets and tons of free food. So come on out. The other thing I want to talk about was the ALPR, the automated license plate reader, was on the agenda. So that was a grant that we applied for. And I just want to give some credit to Detective Sergeant Glasser. He was tasked with looking into that, and ironically, we looked at each other and we were like, I'm probably not going to get it, but let's try for it anyway. And ourselves and Galloway were the only two municipalities that received the grant money. So it's going to allow us to purchase the automatic cameras. And what it does is, a lot of people are probably familiar with it. It's the challenge of keeping up with technology. But what it's going to do is it'll read every car that goes by. And it's going to be a great tool to have for, we already have one, and this will add more cameras throughout the city. If you have an incident where, God forbid, somebody gets stabbed in a road rage, and we have a description of a black pickup truck, we can search the system for all black pickup trucks that came onto the island or left the island. We can get the license plate and start narrowing down from there and doing some good investigative work, among numerous other things. But they'll be around at some point, but that's what this addition to the budget was for. And again, I'm thankful to Detective Sergeant Glasser for doing that, and it's something we're proud of, because like I said, it's just us and Galloway that got the Atlantic County grants.
It's a great tool, and I'm not going to go into how we use it in New York City, but it solved a lot. Especially with major cases, we would have it sweep 8 blocks in each direction, and you could find a suspect's car 4 blocks in each alone. The amount of things that can do, not only just, it's unbelievable. Going through a garage, if you're looking for somebody that's lost or stolen cars, picking up stolen cars all the time.
Yep.
It's fantastic, and you can get to a point where take that person's car and run them for warrants too. So the system's unbelievable. We're glad that we're getting it. Will be a better place.
That's great. Anybody else? No. Okay, I'll turn it over to our deputy mayor, Karen Beal.
All right. First, I'd like to welcome Tyler Black as my city manager. Good job. See you. I'd like to wish a happy birthday to our beloved at-large councilman.
Happy birthday.
Bring in the cake.
I'd like to congratulate our 12-under softball team, girls softball team, for winning their championship. Congratulations, and your girls. And exciting season for them.
Yes.
Quickly, the farmer's market is doing great. Hopefully the weather's hold out for this Saturday. Registration is taking place this week for the summer CER programs. I understand they're already closed, so if you are trying to get involved in some of the 30 classes of sports camps that are being offered, is get down to this community center tomorrow. This is really neat. Last year, the community purchased a purple air monitor that is now in operation, sitting at the top of the Public Works building. Lorraine was very instrumental in handling this for us. It is able to check out the air quality in Brigantine. Last month, or a few weeks ago, we had several days of unhealthy air quality, and it was really interesting to go on there because of the Canadian wildfires. It was interesting to go on and look and see how poor the air quality was. Brigantine. I looked at it this morning and we were at a 28 as opposed to last week, which was well over 100. How did it actually get?
403.
Yeah, 403. That was bad.
Yes.
So today is 28.
Yes.
Really nice. You can go to purpleair.com and search the maps, and if you have your location finder on it, it pops up right on the Brigantine location. It's really a neat tool to have. And happy summer to everybody. It doesn't feel like summer today. It's gonna have some nice weather. That's it.
Perfect, thank you. Over to Councilman Paul Terry.
Yes, also like to welcome Ty to this first meeting, and many more. Happy birthday, meeting. The first temporary repairs made to the seawall automobile hit it last winter. They are in fact temporary, so it's all these are already it's one contractors back in your useful, but that's a good see. They wanted to open up that branch and you use. The other thing was may want to expound on what they told us at that meeting. Everyone was afraid that the whole beach from 14th Street to 4th Street was going to be closed for most of the summer. When in fact they told us every couple of days we'll be moving down, opening the beach behind them. So it shouldn't take that long to do the job, and it won't interfere with block by block at the rate that we thought it was. It's going to be a lot quicker and a lot more open than we expected.
I think you summed it up really well.
That's all I have.
All right, so I'm going to go back to our deputy mayor.
I just got a text. I misspoke. The Green Team did not purchase the purple air monitor. It was Kristen Pilch who detailed it actually, but I did that.
Oh, thank you, Chris.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll kick it off to our next councilman, Dennis Haney.
Thank you, Mayor. There was a rec board meeting this past Monday, so I just like to make this announcement regarding pickleball and tennis events and court reservations. Brigantine is going cashless for all pickleball and tennis events and court reservations. Please visit www.courtreserve.com or download the Court Reserve app and select City of Brigantine Beach, New Jersey to learn more and sign up. Memberships available include season, through Labor Day, and quote unquote pay as you go. Please don't download and sign up before coming to the courts for your session or reservation. And with that said, anybody who wishes to get down to CER building and pick up a copy of the summer programs, you know what's going on. There's a lot of good stuff. Also, here I just want to say that the Beach Tag office is in their full hours now. Was it? I wrote the hours down, but I kind of left that at home. Was it 9 to 4:30? Something to that effect. Something like that. 9 to 3:30. Was it Monday through Saturday, or was that Sunday too? 7 days a week. Okay, so there we go. 9 to 3:30, 7 days a week. And you can also always call you have any questions. The regular CER number extension 6, so it will be 609-264-7350. Regarding the offshore wind turbine,
Committee, our Atlantic County Commissioners passed a resolution, it would have been yesterday, regarding taking a more complete and comprehensive and fair look at things. And Vince will detail that a little further, I'm sure, and touch on that. And regarding the short-term rental situation, I'll yield my time to Vince. And I also ditto on the congratulations to Tiger and Neil. And that's it. Thank you.
Perfect. On to Councilman Rick Lucre.
Thank you, Mayor. And I join everyone, of course, in welcoming Tiger as our new manager. Hope you enjoy your stay. And in recognizing Neil, although I can say, Karen, you used the word beloved, so I naturally thought it's Mike's birthday. We had a meeting of the beach committee last week, and no surprise, a lot of the discussion was about the beach replenishment project. So it's very timely what Tiger was saying about the public announcements and information that's coming out this week. We'll answer a lot of questions, and we hope clear up a lot of the misinformation that I'm sure we've all been exposed to, from speculation that the beach was closed all summer in its entirety, to some people asking me if the South End was also going to be closed. That clears that up. This Saturday, weather permitting, is the Art of Surfing event, which is a fantastic event, great group of volunteers that work with special needs kids and young adults for a day on the beach in the water. So keep your fingers crossed that the weather will accommodate them. And finally, I don't know if there are any slots left open, but if you have some time on Saturday, some extra blood, there's blood drive at St. Thomas. And as they say, if your blood is constant, there's really no substitute for it. If you need blood, there's nothing else that will take the place. So feel free to check in on the Red Cross website and see if you have any openings and stop. That is all. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Send it down to the birthday boy.
Just got a couple things. Went to the arts night at the school last week. It was a great time out. Those kids did a fantastic job with their performances. Of course, Terry Gregg, retiring her last night. She was one of the people that actually put that whole thing together. So fantastic. She's been doing it every year. So we congratulate her. Still, my favorite is the black one, the fluorescent white. So the kids did a fantastic job with arts tonight. We also had the opportunity to go to the 8th grade graduation. What a great group of kids. They were fantastic, and the future's bright with them. I also had the opportunity to go to the flag ceremony at the Elks Lodge last week. It's amazing what they do there, that whole ceremony that they put on in the history of the flag versus the country was developed and how it changed over the years and everything. So that was really something else. I also had the opportunity to go to the beach cleanup last week, and I'm going to thank all the volunteers that showed up for that. It seems like, believe it or not, that most of the trash that we found is in the walkways from the street to the beach. For some reason, the reuse bags cannot find their way into these trash cans, but that's what we found in most of them. Listen, there's trash cans literally everywhere in the yards. So it just comes down to laziness. So people just be a little bit more cognizant of that for every trash can. And again, congratulations to our girls, the 12 girls softball team. Fantastic stuff. So I want to congratulate Tom Beach team and coach and everybody in that league for taking it to the top. That's all I got. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Go to Councilman Mike Reed.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. It's always a pleasure to see you here at our council meetings and hear your input about all the concerns that we have here on town and help us to get through things and work together to get the job done. First of all, I'd like to start with the Coastal Arts Commission. Tomorrow night's a big night down at the community center at 6:30. You gotta go. The adults will be there. All right, the Sweet Life. They're gonna have music, entertainment, desserts, a speaker. It's free. If anybody would like to make a donation, the money goes to the Humane Society of Seeking. So mark the calendar off now tomorrow night, 6:30. It's gonna be a fun time. After that, well, the coach bars had an art show coming up in September also. They normally have in July, but we have the adult speed tomorrow night. So, we'll look forward to that. The Economic Development, Committee, big thing, like we've been talking about, beach punishment. It has a big effect on the economics of Brigantine. We're all so happy to hear that it wasn't as bad as what people, and especially one news channel, said we're closing all beaches for the summer. So I'd like to thank the mayor too on that, because as we were getting a lot of calls on that, we were like, listen, once we sit down with the DEP and the Army Corps and the Dredging Company, we'll talk about it and things will be okay, just like they were last year down the coast. We thought no one's going to be able to drive on the cold all summer this year, and that worked out also. So that's that. 2 committees. Softball championship, congratulations. Just another example. Tom Peach is doing a fabulous job with the baseball and softball in Brigantine. It's amazing he's pulling kids out and helping build championship teams, and all the parents and coaches that volunteer with their kids. So that's great. There was a couple other big things that happened over the last week. Karen must have turned 100, so I want to say happy birthday to you. You know, say Mother there, and wish you could have been there. You know, and I want to congratulate the mayor also on being honored by Temple Beth Shalom for all his demonstrated support for the temple, especially over the last year. So that was a great night, a big crowd, and well deserved. The birthday boy, happy 60th birthday, Neil.
Did you say 66?
Tiger is great to have you back here with you. I want to just thank John for everything you do with the beaches and all, and everything else on the island, and fire and police as well. And let's see, that's about all I have. You know, any troubles, you know, we're finally on page of the newspaper. My mom was there, all the friends. Okay, glad to help.
Thanks. Tiger, can you give us an update? We got 4th of July coming up. Can you give us an update on, I guess, what's happening?
Sure, Mayor. So, just 4th of July weekend is always, it's our Super Bowl here. Everybody comes here for fireworks, for the beach, driving on the Cove jetty. So this year is going to pose a challenge. So the Brigada is not doing fireworks, but on Monday, July 3rd at 9 o'clock, they are going to do a 500 drone light show, which is a really neat thing. You've never seen it before. So we know when that happens, we get 4-wheel drives on the Cove, the jetty, and they love to pack in, and they literally pack them in. The challenge this year is going to be, there's not a whole lot of beach left down there by the Cove, especially high tide. Now, high tide Monday night is 8:17 p.m. Show starts at 9. To stack to the challenge on top of that is also a super moon that same night. So I'm gonna put this out next week. It'll be in the papers next week. We'll hit social media next week and the website as well. I'd rather people be informed instead of driving 30, 45 minutes to come here to think they're gonna drive on the beach. Talking with John about this, the road off the lagoon to the Cove will probably be flooded. So we may have to shut the Cove down altogether, not even let anybody on. So there are some challenges. Myself and John have looked at it and looked at the tides and everything, and we will obviously, as we get closer, evaluate it. But I just want everyone to be aware, and that's why we're going to broadcast it out there, so people don't make the drive here expecting to get on the beach and have the challenge of not being able to get there because of the super high tide at almost the same time as the show.
You said you're going to push this out on social media as well as the Brigantine Times?
Yeah, Brigantine Times. I started putting together the release of it, and I'll push that after Friday, so it'll hit next week's paper before the holiday weekend.
All right,
and then, yes, we'll hit social media and our website as well.
If the Cove access road has to be shut down because of flooding or anything like that, is that something we can push out through Nixle to let people know it's closed? Because it might be a last minute. Okay. Like I said, Tiger, I think you're right. It's better to communicate with people up front rather than have frustrated people show up. So thank you.
Sir.
Dennis touched on this a little bit. Our county commissioners passed a resolution last night supporting the federal investigation into the wind farms that are happening out there. To let you know, the resolution itself was amended close to the last minute, and a big reason why it was amended to get bipartisan support. As much as everybody's trying to just get answers as to what's happening with the wind farms, there's a lot of people who are trying to make it a political issue. I know the commissioners worked very hard to come up with wording on that resolution to ensure bipartisan support. Very proud of the work that they're doing. They were able to get bipartisan support. It passed almost unanimously. It was 8-1 with one of the Democrats crossing party lines in order to support this. And I think it's good because you need to start to work together. It has to be more than just a partisan initiative. There are real concerns with these projects. And I've talked about these extensively here, so I'm going to save everybody the speech about it. But we're going to continue our efforts. We're working very, very closely with our county executive, our Senator Vince Palestina, and Congressman Jeff Andrew on this issue, and we will keep people posted as we move forward. BOEM is having an in-person meeting, and BOEM is the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management. Their in-person meeting is going to be this Thursday, June 22nd, 5 p.m. at the Atlantic City Convention Center. BOEM is going to be having kind of an open house that was very similar to what Atlantic Shores did here in Brigantine. This is part of the public comment period. I guess the public has 45 days in order to comment on these projects. So BOEM's holding this meeting to give people some more information. At the meeting, they'll have, my understanding is, court stenographers. So you can give testimony. You have a maximum of 5 minutes. The stenographer will type up, I guess, your comment to be submitted as part of the public record. Brigantine will be sending in written comment towards that, so we'll be responding. I feel I'd probably need a little bit more than 5 minutes to respond to this appropriately. So we wanted to let people know that it's this Thursday, June 22nd, 5 p.m. at the Atlantic City Convention Center. And so it should be a good informational session. If you have the opportunity, definitely go out. If you want to learn more about the projects, go there. If you want to voice your opinion to BOEM, these are the people to voice your opinion to. One of the things we're moving forwards towards is electronic payments and credit card payments. One of the things we wanted to start to roll out with the court reserve system is getting the city used to taking credit card payments. And I've been saying this, I think, since I've been mayor. We need to move into the modern century. It's been very successful. Our CFO is now looking in other areas. Me personally, once we get this up and rolling, I think that for the community center and all of the programs and projects we do down there, people should be able to sign up online and pay online. To stand for hours in line to fill out a piece of paper never made sense to me. We are moving in that direction, and we're getting there. Well, I'd like to say quickly, but for some people, I know it's been very slow. But we are moving there, and our CFO has made this a top priority. Our test run with Court Reserve has worked very, very well, and we're ready to start to expand, not just with the CER, but other departments. And as that information becomes available, I'll make sure we get it out to everybody. City manager already gave the update on the North End beach replenishment. You know, we've done a number of projects with the Army Corps and the DEP. They are great partners and they're good to work with. And, you know, as Mike Reardon said, you know, once we all sat down in the room and discussed the project and what we needed, everybody came up with a reasonable plan to make it work. I know our Public Works and our Beach Patrol have worked very hard on a plan to put together, which our city manager shared out today, and this will go out on social media. And as I said, we're going to do everything we can to minimize the impact of this project so people, one, can have a nice, beautiful, safe beach to enjoy, and two, to get this project done in a meaningful amount of time. For our short-term rental issues that are coming up, or have been coming up, so I guess an update on this. Meeting notices have been sent out to the homeowners. So we're starting with our homeowners. After we meet with all the homeowners, we'll be meeting with the other groups that are involved in this, but our top priority was to meet with the homeowners. The goal of these meetings is for the city officials to hear the challenges and concerns surrounding the short-term rental properties in each neighborhood. We've heard a lot from the 20th Street area about specific problems. What I will tell you is that anecdotally, talking with people, there are a number of issues on the island that go unreported. And I want to start to make sure that we make those communications so we can talk to people and start to hear what those issues are. Some of the ways in which we are working now to address the short-term rental issues is one of the things that actually came from this meeting is streamlining the process for filing community complaints. Obviously, with the police, it's easy. If it's an emergency, dial 911. If it's a non-emergency, you call the non-emergency number. But I think for other issues, the frustration is people either don't know where to go or get shuffled around from office to office. What we're setting up now is an email system where people can email in. One of the things we talked about is an issue of employees. We wanted to make sure that we had a dedicated employee that was going to be able to do this. We're working with the city manager right now to hire a part-time employee. We do not have it in the budget to hire somebody full-time, but we wanted to get things rolling. We'll have a part-time employee who will be dedicated in the fire prevention office that handles a lot of the inspections. My goal and what I want this employee to do is the emails come in, that person receives the emails and responds back, your email has been received. And then also continuous communication with the residents. I think part of the issue is that people communicate with the city and never hear back. We can't have that happen. And this is one of the issues that our city manager is working to address. As soon as we go through that hiring process, we're going to put this person in. It's going to take them a little time to get up to speed, but we're going to get them up to speed. The other thing I'd like them to do is not only respond, but also we need communication between our construction office, our zoning official, and our fire prevention that handles inspections. So those offices start to communicate. I would like that employee to say, hey, listen, this issue came in, it's for construction, and start to sort those and make sure that there's follow-up internally of what happens. And also, like I said, to have follow-up with people. I think a lot of times, sometimes things come in, people make a complaint, it gets lost in the shuffle. Don't want that to happen anymore, and this is what we're starting to address. Paul Lettieri has been working on the financial plan for the city. This is what part of what we're doing now. This has now been forwarded to our city attorney for review. We want to make sure that what we do, we're within our legal rights. And as I said, as frustrated and angry as people are here, as we start to move forward with some of the regulations and things that we're looking to do with the short-term rental people, they will be in here, they will be up in arms and angry, and I want to make sure that we are within our legal rights to pass and do what we do so the city does not end up in a lawsuit. Part of this too is we will be communicating with the short-term rental property owners and that have communicated with us and shown an interest to talk to them, hey, here's the problems we're here in the community, here's what we're looking to do to solve it, here's some of the ideas that we're going to be pushing forward so this way there's no surprises for anyone. The other thing we want to start to do with this plan in place is have better enforcement of our current laws and regulations. I've been working with the city manager on how we're going to start to address these issues. Also working with the planning board, we're putting together a subcommittee. I've been talking with the chairman of the planning board about this, and what we're going to look at from the planning board is what are the new laws and regulations that we can start to put in place to deal with the construction, zoning, and parking issues surrounding short-term rental properties. Part of it is we have to look at where we are now and also where we want to go as a community. And I said this at the last meeting, there's a big difference between a person who builds a large home for their personal enjoyment and someone who builds a large home for a commercial enterprise. We need to start to look at how we rein that in and how we start to have a better control on that. And this is where we need also our planning board and our planning board professionals to be involved in that. I talked with our planning board attorney. It's going to be the same process, whatever it is we come up with there. I'm going to make sure that our planning board attorney reviews that to make sure that the city is in good legal standing for whatever we put forward. I also monitor and look at what a lot of municipalities put out and the changes that they do. I'm going to tell you, we are going to be a little unique and special in what we do because I think we need to attack this in a different way. Oftentimes municipalities put things out to kind of placate the people in their community to say, look, we did something, and sometimes it doesn't really fix anything. So this is what we are working on. I wanted to give people an update on that. One of the things I also want to do is start to improve communications about what it is we're doing. I will tell you that our email system here in Brigantine is horrible. It was shut down for a while. Issues with the system. I couldn't send emails out. I couldn't receive emails. The system itself, I think, is antiquated. I think it's cumbersome. It doesn't work right. At least it never works right for me because I'm logging in from outside the system. We are moving over to a new email system. Our CFO, our Public Works Director, and our City Manager are working to put this together. This is going to improve communications here in the city and allow us to do that. One of the things I also want to set up, and I've been talking about this for over a year, constant contact. A lot of municipalities who communicate with their community members use a program called Constant Contact, because in there you can set up different subgroups so you can easily communicate out where you are, what you're doing with the specific people that are interested in that. Our CFO and our city manager are working to put that together for the city, and I think this is going to be a useful tool to make sure that we can stay in contact with people on what we're doing. Very similar to the newsletter system that I put in place, I want to say like almost a decade ago, but this way it'll come out about specific things. So as we make changes or things are coming up, especially with short-term rental issues, we can start to push this out to that group of people who has signed up to be a part of these groups and these meetings. So we're going to start to make sure that we improve communications with that. So I think I covered all that. Perfect. All right, at this time, I will open it up for public comment. Anybody wishing to be heard, please state your name and address for the record. Go to John Johnson.
John Johnson, 36 Schofield Beach Road, Brigantine. I want to congratulate Tiger Platt. Happy he got the job. And for Brigantine, I think we're extremely lucky to bring in someone that already is very familiar with the rules and regulations and Brigantine itself and the people that are here. Happy birthday to Neil. What I wanted to ask about was the portion of Lagoon and Harbor Beach that had been paved just recently. The bike lanes were repainted. They look excellent. However, riding around the island, we have lots of areas where the paint of the bike lane is so old, it's very hard to see, particularly when you leave Harbor Beach, taking the right onto Brigantine Avenue. That area is really eroded away, and other places are worse than others. So is it possible that we could get the rest of the island repainted? It's been forever, I guess, since it was painted. And whether grants or safe routes to school or anything like that, that would help pay for it. I appreciate that.
Sure, the county's going to be actually repaving all of Brigantine Avenue from the seawall to the circle. Part of that repaving is they're going to repaint, redo all the bike lanes. As we work our way through the island, repaving the roads, we'll also make sure that we update all of that painting and striping that's out there for the bike lanes. The county is supposed to be starting in the fall. They're going to do it in 2 phases, so that'll get Brigantine Avenue, and then we are working on the rest of it.
Okay, well, that is good news. I'm just thinking, entering the summer season with a lot of new homeowners, you know, you just don't think of bike lanes if they're not right away.
I agree with you. Thanks, John. Yes, sir.
Mayor and Council, my name is Dan Glover. I'm not originally from this part of the country.
Can you just state your address for the record?
Oh, yes, sir, I'm sorry. My address is 4410 Waverly. I'm not from this area. I moved to this area 30 years ago when I married my wife. I'm sorry, I'm Paul.
That's all right.
As I said, I'm not from this area. I settled in this area about 30 years ago when I met the love of my wife.
We love
Brigantine. I never knew Brigantine existed. I learned to love this town. I've come to hate this town. And I'll tell you why. Not that I hate anybody in the town, because that's a very strong word. But over the last year or so, I bought 4410 Waverly about 15 years ago. The house next door to me was vacant. In 2022, it was sold a second time. A person bought it about 6 years ago. Wonderful individual. Today, in May 2022, it was purchased as a commercial enterprise. 5 feet 3 inches from my bedroom window is an entertainment center. Awnings, grills, bar, picnic tables, games, speakers, they're out there all hours of the night. I pick times to bring my wife, who is much older than I am, here. I have to look at the Airbnb schedule to determine what's a good time to bring her. It's sad. I called the police department. They don't have time to deal with these types of issues. They have more important things to do than to deal with noise issues. I've communicated with the owner of the property on many occasions. I had to turn around and call the police this weekend at 3:15 in the morning because the individuals who were renting the property for 3 days had been out all night. They decided to come back, conjugate, because it's a drawing park. When they leave, and the owner of the property made this a very nice place in the back with awnings, lights, music, all of the amenities that you would want. Hell, at a private residence where you have more space. They have no space. The owner of the property told me this weekend, maybe I should look at a 55 and over. I've owned 3 properties on the side. I love the side. I love the people on the side. They're polite, they're decent. I spent my entire adult life as a Marine officer. Did I spend my entire life as a Marine officer to defend everyone's rights so that I can retire, come to a town like Brigantine, and be treated like a dog? I called your police department at 3:15 on Friday night. Wonderful person answered the phone. I was shocked at the response.
What was the response?
It's only going to get worse.
Are these calls recorded?
Yeah.
I would like to hear that. That is, if that is in fact true, that is unacceptable.
I understand the empathy of saying as an employee.
The dispatcher said that?
I called a non-emergency number.
But the person on the phone said that, not the officer.
Yes.
Okay.
No, I didn't take it personal, but I thought as a municipality that it should have been a more professional call, a more serious call. I don't know what to do. Every single weekend since that whole house has been sold, it's been rented. There's been noise. So what am I supposed to do? Rearrange my house so I sleep on an opposite side of my house? I spent a lot of money on my property in the box to bring it up to standard, to make it look good, to be a part of the community. I know every person on the street. I walk my dogs twice, 3-4 times a day. We all get along great. We're great neighbors. We help each other. I want the town's help, not to fix the easy problem, but sit down and study the root cause of the problem. And I think if we're all honest with ourselves, the root cause of the problem is money. Don't let the community become a cash cow for people who don't live here, don't contribute to the community, and not are a part of the solution, but are a part of it. This is, I understand, problems looking at the surface is very simple, depending upon what aspect you look at it. When you start peeling the onion back, you find out that it's more complex. I understand the complexity of a problem. I deal with it every day. I run a $3 billion operation.
Dan, your 5 minutes are up, sorry.
Excuse me, ma'am?
Your 5 minutes are up, just wanted to let you know.
So I had one question for you. Have you been able to, whether it be by Airbnb or just personal observation, have you been able to notice how long these stays have been, or how, the duration of nights?
They're usually 3 to 4 days, 4 days max.
Okay. Usually 3 to 4 days, okay.
And I'm going to be careful what I say. I don't want to put everybody in a situation. It's not your typical family who rents a property at the Jersey Shore that's been coming for decades with a family with their kids to enjoy the beach, to go eat at one of the local establishments. It's usually 10, 12 young men, young women. They're here for other events or other
Thank you.
Excuse me, I have one question too. You're at 4410?
Yes, sir.
Are we talking about the property that fronts onto Lagoon?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Because the postal service says it's on Wayland,
yeah.
but the orientation for optics on the street on Lagoon, space in Lagoon.
On the corner.
Yes, sir. So just, I'll sit down and you told me the contract. What's my solution? I'm asking you, you make the rules, what's my solution? I follow all your questions that you asked me to follow in your ordinances.
We're gonna have the police chief, look into it, and we are working to address the situation. Anyone else? Mrs. Phillips? Is that too high for you, Ann?
Yeah.
Okay, that's- Thank you, sir. True gentleman.
Ann H. Phillips, 308 27th Street. Mayor Sarah, you've said frequently that you agree with the residents who have been complaining about resort house properties. And you say that you're going to take the time to make sure we do the corrections correctly.
Can you turn the volume up, the microphone's on?
One, two, three.
Okay. Thank you. I'll start again. Mayor Sarah, you've said frequently that you agree with the residents who have been complaining about the resort house properties. And you say that you're going to take the time to make sure we do the corrections correctly. But now, there's been a lot of talk, but I think it's fair to say that movement has been slow to address the issue of commercial activity in a residential zone. And now Brigantine stands alone or almost alone in this coastal area as a town which does not have a minimum rental stay. Bender has a 3-night minimum, Margate 10 nights, Longport 14 nights. Existing contracts are grandfathered, we understand that. But these towns have taken action to begin to address this problem along the coast of commercial activity in residential zones. And actually, it also alerts those who are making a profit from this that the towns are serious in addressing the issue and that the civic health of these communities, including Brigantine, depends on what happens and what happens to these neighborhoods with single-family homes, and above all, to the quality of life in those neighborhoods. The delay and reluctance, and that's what appears, to speak it honestly, to take action really makes no sense now, and for the future civic health of our community. I think you have to think what's happening if this continues and if it gets worse. And as technology keeps improving and people use these properties for money-making machines, it does harm the essence of the town. I think that the essence is a good word. It's a civic atmosphere that is conducive to living in a neighborhood in a single-family home without all these disturbances. I think you're also ignoring the liability that might ensure to the government and to taxpayers if something results from what is taking place. There are people coming on the island we don't know, people renting we don't know, activities taking place. And actually, when you're talking about this is conducive to business activity on the island. It's been my experience based on the house that is on my block. And that activity is taking place within the house. And a lot of these people do not frequent the restaurants, so on. So it's a self-contained violation that is not good for the community. And I'd like to just mention some 3 words that I think are the key to this whole thing. Transparency is important, and especially accountability. I think we have people who are working in this department, and I realize that there should be some arrangement, and I think this is part of what you're looking to do in terms of the number of people we have and the fees that might have to be charged, and to make this possible for the community financially. And then there's also accountability, enforcement, and transparency. All 3 qualities, I think, at the moment are not existing properly in this condition. The condition is not getting better, it's getting worse as the summer goes on. So I just think council is going to have to move a little faster and more directly to make the point that we have a law and we're going to enforce it. And the health, vitality, and quality of life in our residential neighborhoods will be protected by this government. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Phelps. What's up, Jim?
Jim Goya, 305 20th Street. I'm representing the residents for the zoning enforcement. We've got a group of people. This is just a small number that are here this evening. I appreciate the fact that literally the day after we had our formal meeting to create a draft, something about the incentives, there's got to be something to do. But you missed a couple of the points on your guidelines. Short-term rentals is an opportunity to look at streamlined process, community, hire an employee, better enforcement laws, which I'll talk about in a second, adopt new laws and regulations, improve communication with the residents. Perfect example of that being situation. Perfect. I'm sorry to hear that is a situation. But we've been living that way. 20th Street for many years. These are the things that we're missing from the document. One is, I don't hear a date. When will we have something that says, this date, we're going to accomplish these things? I was in business, you were in business, many people we were in business, have an end date. I don't know, it's a rollout. Some towns are working very quickly, nothing. 2, license agreement should be on this sheet, the document that you set out, that the client set out. It was a license agreement, a lot of work about that. One thing that really bothers me the most is better enforcement of current laws. And I'm just going to go back to the residential house law, it's an ordinance, it's a law. Sent you 3 letters, email. I did get the demon response, so obviously that was when the email wasn't working. But the 304, 306, 1804, still advertising, blown out numbers, 23, 26. Actually, the numbers gone up since I've spoken about this a couple times. We actually went in for their site, counted beds, disbodied beds. One house has 11 bedrooms now. One of them, I think it's 304, right? Has 11 bedrooms. They added 2 bedrooms to the house. And one of the beds, one of the garage has 8 bedrooms. So that's a law. Your responsibility as mayor is to help enforce the laws. So you don't need to do anything other than to approach them. 304, 306, and 1804. The 2 of them on the 400 block on the ocean, I got a note back that you sent them a cease and desist, but they're still advertising 36 people, 2 houses in one. They listed 15 bedrooms, which is the aggregate of the 2 houses. And I'm sure when you rent it that way, you write a single check. Not 2 checks, a single check. We live on 20, we go back and forth, I've seen people go from one house to the other, actually, without the door, walking little slopes to that. I'm not counting people anymore, I'm not gonna count cars anymore, that's not my responsibility, it's the town's responsibility. And I truly look forward to the meeting, because there's a lot of opportunities for improvement. But we need to know when, what's the goal, when we meet, we need to say September 1st, effective what day? Because you've got to give people an opportunity. These houses, these residential homes are rented all the way through the end of October. You can't go back to them and say, well, the law has changed, but you can go back and it's not changed, but we're going to enforce the law, but you've got to have a date for the law to enforce. If they've already had that rented, you can't. I understand that aspect. Bike helmets. Jersey has a law of 1700, and I know the police are gonna have this, I think it's great, we're gonna give that helmets, but my granddaughters learned to ride bikes here in summer, and they used to get stopped and give them a little card, gave them a free ice cream cone, and they loved it. I have to tell you, we're cyclists, I'm out there all the time. This weekend, no matter what time of the day it was, there were bikes everywhere, and your comment on the bike lanes, most of the bike lanes in Brigantine are the original bike. You don't even see on Ocean, but there's one there. Okay, so I hear you want to wait, and I think that's great, but somebody needs to go out and look at some of these areas, because they're out there all over the place. And the kids and the families and the helmets, it just scares me something's gonna happen, and you don't want it on your watch. Electric cars, again, I'm seeing every day I ride, I see more electric cars. They're all over, Great Avenue, Harbor Beach, they're everywhere. Even up at the Pirates Den the other day, I rode up, there was at least two parked there. And then I see young kids in them, music is blaring, they're driving them very, very fast. I don't know how or what to do, but it's just an observation. Another observation, this is crazy, I see a lot of stuff, so I haven't been stopped yet. The other day, 2 days ago, the wind was between 13 and 19 miles per hour, gust scale force warning. At the golf course, they're spraying fertilizer when you've got a 16, 17, 18 mile per hour wind. So all the spray that was going down on the ground was going out. So actually, you have to move around it. Just stuff like that you see. We need to be more focused on the things that are happening in town. Just general things that don't make sense. Why is somebody spraying the golf course lawns when the wind is 18, 19 miles per hour? So, what are we gonna do? That's your job. But anyway, there's some of the things. And one other question I have is, what's gonna happen with parking on Bridge once they do the dive?
Excuse me, your 5 minutes are up.
Okay. And then when you get time,
You can't transfer time.
well, here's the question. I'm gonna interrupt you for 5 minutes. Here's the question. So if they go to one lane each, turn there, but they allow parking on Great Avenue, because right now, go to the business service, right across there, $55 right now. You can barely see anybody in the place. I did the garden club, and I was doing all the different gardens. This is
Jim, with all due respect, we do have a 5-minute rule. This is a county project, and we'll get an update from the county. It's a county road. We'll get that for you. And I'll have the county email you directly with that information. Tag, I believe we have Jim Coya's contact information. Can you have someone from the county reach out to Mr. Coya about his questions? Thank you. Anybody else wish to come up?
Louise Grover, 301 20th Street. I am not going to go around merry-go-round. We've been coming since March. You know the situation. I do agree with Mrs. Phillips about accountability, and we don't see it. I agree with Jim. There's got to be a deadline. All those other towns that got in the paper in February complaining about the Airbnbs and putting a limit on them, and then wanted it done by Memorial Day, got it done. I think there needs to be honesty here. at 304 20th Street last week from Tuesday to Sunday. They had 3 turnovers. That's not a hotel. And then somebody in this room also complained about noise, and the dispatcher told this person that you live in a resort town. What do you want? So respect, manners, courtesy, and we are extremely nervous because on the 300 block of 20th Street, there is a home for sale, and that 2 rentals will be going up again. That will make 6 in a block. So what do? I feel like you're sympathizing with the owners, and here we are, like Mr. Flood said, we invested our money, this is our home, and hotels are just taking over. It is certainly not the street that we had 22 years ago, not at all. And there's a need for immediate action. Before that house next door to us is sold and knocked down, and 2 houses go up, 2 more. That's it. Oh, and by the way, dog was on the beach on Sunday, great big black lab, no leash, goes floating on the beach, does his business twice, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, beach is packed. Somebody said something to the lifeguard, chief of the lifeguards came over, told him he was very upset he had to leave the beach with the dog. Police came, said, oh good, he's gone. 5 minutes later, he came back to the beach with the dog on a leash, no vest, and the dog stayed on the beach all day. Have the laws changed? I don't know. Maybe he knew something I don't know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, this is Andrea Sullivan, 2000 Ocean Avenue. I just want to start by making a correction to the AC Press yesterday's article about addressing the Airbnbs, the short-term rentals, where Selena had quoted me, or not, it wasn't in quotes, but it was a reference that I said there were no issues with the rental properties in the 400 block, specifically 402 and 406. That was a misattribution. What I said was, there were no issues prior to the fall of 2022 when they were owner occupied and used for their own purposes. Once they went into that acquired 402, both owners now, the same property owners, 402 and 406. And at that juncture is when they swung into full Airbnb mode and they became problematic. So yes, they are in fact an issue for the residents in the 20th Street and that immediate area. Also, I had a question. I brought it up a couple months ago. John, you probably remember, John, during the parking, no parking in the street signs. They are so faded in the 400 block that we thought maybe we'd get some new signage that could be more legible for cars. Because just, I think it was Monday night, I had to call the non-emergency number, the police. I was getting ready to just, just close things up for the night, check everything out front, and cars were rolling in, and then they were parking, and I thought, okay, where were they going? And they were going, apparently it's a whole crew. There must have been social media posts that a lot of the youngins were getting together on the beach. Bikes were coming in, people were walking, parking from Ocean Avenue. There had to be, I think I counted, it was 4 patrol cars or SUVs, and they came up the beach. So there was a whole crowd that was dispersed on a Monday evening around 10 o'clock. I think the police rolled out around 10:40. So we're just getting cranked up here, and I just want to make sure that, I have no problem with kids having fun and stuff like that, but when they start to get, like, you need to see them carrying alcohol with them and things like that, I just worry about when they peel out of there, could they be jeopardizing their own welfare and maybe so forth and so on. So I just sort of be a little more diligent, maybe when I'm marking that as a hot spot, just because 20th Street beaches, we have a kind of a depression that doing there, they kind of gather and have some fun and whatever, but I'm not against fun. But just be like, responsible fun. And I'm looking forward to, I also had a question, the short-term rental committee, Are these going to be satellite meetings, or is there going to be, are we the first one, Mayor?
You are not the first one.
Is it going to be a combined group
No,
of
there's
people?
not. So as I said in the beginning, they are smaller group meetings, similar to how your group comes in. We would like to hear from different groups. And it is not a committee. And I've been clear about that. It is so we can sit down and hear from the residents of our community, just like you, because there may be other issues or areas out there that we're not aware of, and that's what we're doing.
Okay, so I'm getting, just want to verify, you sent an email out to, and I got it was next Thursday night at 6:30. Is it going to be in this room?
It will be in this room.
Okay, just checking. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief, can you give us an update on the incidents that Andrew's referring to? I guess with the juveniles out on the beach.
Yeah, the report was some cars that driven into that block and then into the beach. So as she said, there's a couple of different patrol units from different directions. Contacted the kid. I think the report said they were between 16 and 18. So if they're 18, they're adults. And I think they said there's about 15 or 16 of them. And they just told them about curfew and sent them on their way.
All right. Was there anything in the report? Did they have alcohol with them?
Not in the report. No.
It was not in the report. All right. And if they were underage and there was alcohol there, the police would have addressed that. If they saw it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just curious.
Now, I mean, the laws have changed drastically in the state of New Jersey. There's a very clear message sent to not really have too much contact with juveniles. Obviously, if they're past curfew, you can approach them and speak with them, but it has to be on a very limited capacity. And the state's been very clear about that.
And I think that's something that
there's reports, I'm sorry, but there's reports of alcohol and it's in like a book bag or something. There's nothing we can do about it. Which is why you saw Ocean City try to ban book bags. I don't think that's enforceable, but they're trying. To tell an adult that he can't have a book bag, on the boardwalk or the beach is going to be very challenging for them, but they're trying. But yeah, we can't just start opening book bags. It's a very limited interaction. It's called a curbside adjustment, and that's it. You're out of there. No names, can't take names. You're out of there. And that's the state of New Jersey.
And the governor and the state legislature put that in place.
Juvenile justice reform.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of reform the past couple of years, bail reform, marijuana reform, juvenile justice reform. So that falls under juvenile justice reform.
So that might be an issue for our state representatives that we might need to take up with them.
There's a lot of pushback on the juvenile justice reform. If you saw, they went back to the drawing board with the parental contact. It was pure idiocy what they wrote into that law. They basically wrote into that law that if I have contact with your kid, let's say they're doing drugs, or I can't contact you as a parent. So there was outrage from that. So if you look at the law, the way it was, they went back to went back to the drawing board and adjusted that law. They did a 180. So the law went from law enforcement officers prohibited from contacting the parent to the law enforcement officer is required to contact the parent. That's what they did. They did a total 180. When you read two laws side by side, it's pretty comical, but yeah, it's all part of reform of juvenile justice. It's about 30 pages long.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Anyone else? If there's no other public comment, I'm sorry, Henry.
Henry Waldron, 314 20th Street. I have questions and comments. One question, are the garden areas in the business district public property? I saw a number of native and Brigantine signs in the grassy areas.
Where was that at?
Right outside, in front of Andre's, in front of the other shops, the liquor store. You have the little flower areas that the town redid.
I think they're the business owners.
Are those the business owners?
But I guess I'll address it this way. I've had conversations with our Director of Public Works, and whenever Public Works sees those signs in public areas, they are to take them down.
Okay, because I was gonna ask if they were open for those signs on one side.
Anything that is inappropriately placed shall be taken down, and Defend Brigantine was noticed by me in writing that our Public Works Department will take them down in public places.
Okay. Also, last meeting, I apologize, I wasn't able to attend. I was helping an old friend with an emergency situation. I heard that you're looking for someone to help you get through the various legal documents that are posted on home for the wind, offshore wind turbines, including the environmental report that just went up in the last couple of weeks. I have read every page. I've offered this before. I've offered this for almost 2 years. I will give you unbiased insights if you so desire. If you want to hire me, or if you want to hire someone, I would be glad to apply for that, and I can provide formal documentation to support my contention that I'm among the most qualified, if not most qualified, to have if you get that position formalized.
Okay, thank you.
Finally, this is just a little bit of an update. I had asked about parking in alleyways. We know that we have parking problems on the streets. And one of the things that I have come across that has been problematic at times are trucks and other vehicles parking in the alleyway to work on a house adjacent to mine or behind mine, and effectively blocking my driveway, or blocking the pathway in the alley to the extent that people to get by are driving over my grass in my yard. Speaking with the police chief, apparently we don't have any rules and regulations on alleyways the way we do on streets, and yet for many of us, if we have a driveway and a garage off the alleyway, that is our means of egress. So, somewhere along the line, as we try to address party issues, or maybe even independent of that if necessary, if you could take a look at rules and regulations associated with driveways, especially when you've got somebody blocking somebody's driveway. If somebody's blocking my driveway and it goes out to the street, I know I can, call the police or call a tow truck or something like that. And have some rights as a homeowner. Implicitly, it seems I don't have those same rights if I access to the other.
I have to work with the chief on that.
Yeah, we spoke about it a little bit about a month or two ago. I didn't want it to get lost in the in everything else that's going on.
I didn't want to take up your time, so. Okay. We talked about this, I think, last meeting. You can, by all means, call us. It would be more of, if it's blocking your driveway, but your driveway's in the alley, it's still blocking the driveway. So by all means, call us. If they're blocking vehicles' pathway to get around them, to go down the alley, again, you can call us for that. If they're blocking the alley, and then we'll respond to that.
Is that something that's enforceable through the police? Because I guess I'm just asking because Henry had said that he was informed that it wasn't something
They
enforceable.
weren't legal roads, so they didn't have the same kinds of legal protections and requirements and restrictions that a road should have.
That's what I was
The
curious.
alley's still considered like a throughway road.
Yeah, under Title
so
39, right?
Like I spoke about before, it would be like impeding the flow of traffic.
Okay.
You know, and 9 times out of 10, the contractor's not gonna argue with us, he's gonna move the truck, and we'll make it clear to him, especially if he's gonna be working there for a while. We'll make it clear to him not to block, traffic flow to get down the alley.
Yeah, we've had situations where a person's doing a lot of work, loading, unloading, or the like, but they could have done it from the street on the other side. And so, the answer will be, wait 20 minutes and then we'll be gone. That can be an inconvenience in an emergency, that can be others.
Sure, absolutely. But it sounds like you're able to address that through the police department. And okay, I just want to make sure that that was clear. Okay.
And let me know if you're going to go bipartisan or if you're considering bipartisan with regard to reading through the various documents.
Well, thank you very much, Henry. Joanne, go ahead.
Joanne Mills, 22 McDonald's Place. I almost feel extremely frivolous. Okay. I feel frivolous in stopping in here because of the concerns of my friends that are in these crowded neighbors with this Airbnb situation. But as a member of the community, we also just wanted to invite everyone that the garden tour is being held this Saturday. Okay, we have a lot of residential properties that are sharing their gardens with us, and the garden club is hosting this. There'll be an ad in the paper to remind you it's a donation event because we are a volunteer committee under the city, so that this will be offered to everybody in the city. I do feel extremely frivolous because their concerns are our concerns also, but this flew by, and I just have to say, we're volunteers at work, and we'd like to share.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Anybody else? If there's no other public comment, we'll close the public portion. For council comments.
Vince, I just wanted to, I was missing my notes there. I also just wanted to congratulate Chief there on the girls softball team. It's a beautiful thing. I know Neil, Mike, myself, we all coached, and Mike and I were VPs in the baseball and softball league. And it's just to see the kids go out there and perform and build up those bonds. It's and the parents that show up all the time, the coaches put all that time in, whether it be extra batting practice, defense, whatever the case might be. And those kids have, it's like memories that last like really forever with a lot of these kids. You know, they get together when they're 25, 30 years old and they're talking about it, you know, just about their good times and all. So, yeah, real tip of the cap them. So congratulations. Pass it along.
Perfect, thank you. Did you have stuff? Cut you off. Oh, okay. So one thing I wanted to talk about, I guess I'll start here. When you look at the other municipalities that have passed some of the regulations, they actually don't start until January 1st of next year. It does nothing. It does nothing to change things for this year. And I just want people to understand that when we talk about an immediate response, because I know Mr. Coy has been asking for a date. I know that they pass these, but they don't really take effect till next year, so it doesn't change anything now. And Mr. Coy, when you talked about, like, I must have had somebody in your meeting, the bullet points I gave today are all the things we've been talking about from the start, and maybe it wasn't clearly articulated, but that's why I tried to, like, bullet point it out for myself to clearly articulate it and also email it to everyone at the meeting. But just so you know, that email that was sent out, like I wrote probably a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and wasn't able to send it because of the email system. And then once the email system was up and ready, I did send it out. So this is stuff we've been clearly articulating. One of the things we talked about, and I know this goes towards Mrs. Phillips and a lot of people's concerns, is this idea of accountability. One of the things that I've recognized, with probably the exception of the police department, because I know they respond very quickly, I think when it comes to our city hall staff, when it comes to our code enforcement, our construction official, when it comes to our rental inspection office, they're stretched too thin. And the thing I told you is we needed to put employees in there. And I think it was actually Mr. Coy's suggestion to hire a part-time employee. We did that. We're in the process of that. The city manager has spoken with council today. We had to sit down and work with the CFO to get money together to do that, to make sure that we did that. So we are taking those steps. And the biggest thing with anything, and as I talked to a number of municipalities, is enforcement, is accountability. One of the very things I said in one of the first meetings, if not the second meeting that you all attended, is the number one thing we needed to do is enforce the laws that are on the books. We need to put that process in place, is what we're working on, to have the employee who's specifically dedicated to that, to carry this through the process, to make sure that this stuff is getting done. We do issue summonses and notices to people, as we started with the one issue, Mr. Coy, with you, the one that you brought forward. We did issue a summons, we issued a cease and desist. If they don't comply, there has to be follow-up, but I'm going to say fortunately and unfortunately, the law moves slow, and we have to give certain timelines that we have to follow in order to make sure that we don't violate people's rights. Because in one instance, we want to make sure that we're doing all we can to help the problem, but we also don't want an instance where we're violating someone's rights and end up in a lawsuit. So we are taking that through the process, and one of the things I had a long conversation with the city manager on is, and Mrs. Phillips touched on this, is idea of accountability to the community. When someone responds or sends a complaint to the community, someone from City Hall should immediately respond that it was received, so you're not wondering whether or not you were heard. And someone should respond and follow all the way through the process. Hey, we received your complaint, a summons was issued, here's the timeline, we have to wait this time. So this way you're in communications, and this is what we're doing right now with that employee. We're also looking at these long-term solutions. One of the things I want to make sure we do before we put anything in place is make sure we talk to other homeowners. There's a lot of homeowners who aren't here today. We want to make sure that what we put in place starts to address issues across the island. And I'm sorry, I think your name, was it Dan? Sure, Dan. I don't want anyone to live the way you're living. There's something I'm working on right now with the planning board that may help to address that issue. We're setting that up now, but also too with our city employees. If you were treated and spoken to that way, that is unacceptable, and I want the chief to deal with that. You know, and I believe that people should be treated with respect, no matter what their issue is.
I just thought that at that time of the morning, especially if you have a client calling or
Absolutely.
Thank you. No comment.
And something I want to bring up too, because you've touched on it, but I've talked with the city manager and I haven't put it out publicly. But you know, me as an educator, one of the things we do a lot is professional development. We look at training, and one of the things we've been doing right now in teaching is training when it comes to dealing with the public, dealing with parents, de-escalation techniques to make sure that how we interact with our families is always appropriate. And it's something that I would really like to do here for the city. You know, I think we need some customer service training. I think we need some de-escalation training. I think we need to better serve not just our residents, but it's the similar for you, like your customers. And that's something I would like to roll out over the next year because I think it's very, very important. As you know, in business, your front line will kill you every time. Let's make sure that people have the tools and resources they need. And this is, I mean, we met for 3 hours the other day discussing this. A big part of this is making sure we have a full-time city manager. And I'm going to tell you, priority number one is dealing with the short-term rental issue in Brigantine. I know that it's frustrating. One of the things I've said to a lot of people, you guys have been dealing with this for well over a decade. You've come to the city many times for help. The city has fallen short. I'm not going to let that happen again. And I know that you don't trust me, and I know you don't trust the process, and I think you're within your rights not to trust the process, looking at the past history. I'll give you that. We are going to correct this, and we're going to fix this moving forward. All the things I said we were going to do, we're doing. I said we need to have more community input. We're setting up those meetings. We're going to talk with all the stakeholders. We're doing that. Hiring employees, and Mr. Koya said if you can't hire people full-time, start with a part-time employee. That was a good idea. Mr. Koya said, streamline the process. That's what we're working on, streamlining the process. And I'll tell you, the slow rollout was, there was an idea to give you guys an email system. And then I sat down and said, okay, who's responding and when? I don't want to give you an email and tell you to email to this and then nobody respond. That's not fair and that's not right either. So now we're going to be in a position when this person comes in, and I promise you this, your neighborhood is going to be the first neighborhood to roll this out and to test this. I've already made it a priority right now that your neighborhood is #1 priority, and we're going to build out from there. There is a litany of issues that need to be dealt with. We're going to roll through them one at a time and just start to try to fix everything we can fix. And I forget who said this one, but somebody said there's a lot of simple things that need to be addressed. I think we need to start addressing those simple things. And Dan, you talked about the complexity of it. You know, had a meeting right before the council meeting now, and that's one of the things we talked about is the complexity of this, to make sure that what we do accurately addresses your issues. And that's what we're working through with the process. Sorry, I'm just making sure I address everybody. As we talked about employment, follow-up's a big thing. We talked about respect. Kaz, can you follow up with your officers, I guess, dealing with, they go down and there's an issue with the dog on the beach and they have to come back for the same person, if they can just address that in a better way? You can't have the officers address an issue and then the person leave and come back and then be there all day. And I know that there's a million issues and I know that sometimes things take priorities, but sometimes there's just simple things that can be addressed. And if there's something we can work out to try to deal with some of those issues, I think it would make things better for people in the community, because a big part of it too is just the optics of the situation. And that's something we can get into and discuss
We
too.
just have to make sure we get called back.
Right.
The way it was, I could be wrong, but I don't think we were called back the second time. He just kind of hung out all day.
Yeah.
And again, we do rely a little bit on the lifeguards to call stuff in because they're sitting there all day long.
Yeah, because I know they're able to reach out through the radio to District 19 and input, and that might be something too, Tiger, that might be something for the beach patrol chief, just to make sure that if the guards see the police stress an issue, when then the issue isn't fully resolved, to at least pass it up their chain of command and take it back to the police, because I think that's some of the concern that police were called. From that point forward, it should be addressed. So obviously, if the guards are out there and they notice the issue, if they could pass it up their chain of command so we can make it back to District 19 and they can address it. Thank you. And then John, if we have any, no parking signs, I don't know if we have any down in the public works yard.
We did a survey. They might have missed one. I wrote it down. We'll check it tomorrow.
All right, if we can get that out there, I
Yeah, we
would
did all
appreciate
of Ocean
that.
Avenue, and as the city manager knows, we're now going out on the street ends in the golf course. Checking all them.
Thank you.
So yes, it'll be done.
Thank you. And I think, Andrew, I think that's an easy suggestion, have the signs out there so people can see, because I think those juveniles who came down might not have even known they can't park there.
And also, if I'm sitting out on the porch with certain club and we're sitting out there, when they pull up, we'll just have the courtesy. They want to check the sign because, chances are, when they make a sweep, you'll find a ticket on the windshield. It's like, oh, I didn't even see it, because sometimes they just shoot it and they're not pulling because it's right there off the corner. So.
Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Is there any other council comments? All right. If there's no other council comments, can we have a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? Can't leave if there's no second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Seeing none opposed, meeting is closed. Thank you for joining us at our June 21st council meeting and watching your council team at work. Thank you.